March 29th is the 88th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 89th in leap years, with 277 days remaining to the end of the year. On March 29th in the year 845, the city of Paris was sacked by Viking raiders. Those Viking raiders. Well, they collected a huge ransom in exchange for leaving. King Gustav III of Sweden died on March 29, 1792. He'd been shot in the back at a midnight masquerade ball at Stockholm's Royal Opera about 13 days previously. The United Kingdom annexed Punjab on March 29, 1849. This is an area of the northern part of the Indian subcontinent, covering part of what is now eastern Pakistan and northern India. On March 29, 1867, Queen Victoria agreed to the British North America Act, which would establish Canada on July 1st. The Royal Albert Hall was opened by Queen Victoria on March 29, 1871. A fraternal organization known as the Knights of Columbus was established on March 29, 1882. Pharmacist John Pemberton brewed the first batch of Coca-Cola in Atlanta on March 29, 1886. On March 29, 1927, a vehicle known as the Sunbeam 1000 HP, also known as the Slug, probably because of the way it looked, set a new land speed record of 203.79 miles per hour at Daytona Beach, Florida. In 1927, over 200 miles an hour in 1927. This was powered by 2 aircraft engines, and it was the first car to travel over 200 miles per hour.
Watch this.
On the 29th of March 1974, the Terracotta Army was discovered in Shanxi Province in China. A group of farmers discovered the site of the ancient sculptures while digging a well near the city of Xi'an. On the 5th day of excavation, team member Yang Jifar uncovered pieces of a life-sized terracotta warrior beneath a layer of hard red earth, and soon found other fragments of clay models alongside artifacts that included bronze arrowheads. Realizing that they had stumbled upon a potentially important cultural site, the farmers notified the local authorities, who in turn called for a team of archaeologists to investigate. One of the archaeologists, Zhao Kangmin, later revealed how "we were so excited we rode on our bicycles so fast it felt as if we were flying." After retrieving a number of fragments from the site, he then spent time at the local museum, piecing together 2 1.78-metre terracotta statues that confirmed his suspicions that the site dated back to the reign of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, who reigned in the 3rd century BCE. The find was initially kept secret for fear of the statues being destroyed by Red Guards caught up in the Cultural Revolution that had already destroyed other archaeological sites. However, it was later exposed by a journalist in a story that attracted the attention of officials in Beijing, who initiated a full-scale excavation. Thousands of sculptures have so far been uncovered, buried in an elaborate funerary complex estimated to cover more than 22 square miles. The Terracotta Army was found in battle formation in a series of deep pits, guarding the nearby tomb mound of their emperor that remains tantalizingly unexcavated.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above the 10,000 mark for the first time on March 29, 1999. This was during the height of the dot-com bubble.
Mr. President and distinguished guests, and Mr. President, these are distinguished guests. Getting 4 American Nobel Prize winners on the stage at one time, I think, is quite an accomplishment. Dr. Cronin, Dr. Weinberg, Dr. Ting, and Dr. Richter. Ladies and gentlemen, a year ago, the President made the decision to move ahead with the construction in the United States of the world's largest and most powerful high-energy accelerator, the Super Collider. The President weighed the budgetary, the economic, and the scientific arguments and decided for America's future. Our scientific future, our future technology, our future competitiveness as a nation, and yes, our educational future, as demonstrated by these outstanding honor students in science from across the country who are with us here today and on this stage. Now, this outcome came as no surprise to those of us who have had the great honor of serving Ronald Reagan, an historic president. The President's basic instinct on any issue has always been to look ahead and to resist the temptations to do what is expedient today, to create a vision of tomorrow for the United States and for the world. Today, in the face of ever-increasing, tougher global competition, the importance of the Super Collider is all the more critical to our nation's future. The accomplishments of the Nobel laureates on this stage and the promise of these high school and college honors science students who are with us this morning says much about where this nation is today and where we can go if we continue to chart the right course. This group of explorers epitomizes the great importance of a continuing commitment to the quality education of each generation of Americans, an investment in the necessary scientific tools to explore the new frontiers. Without the benefit of successive commitments by the United States to larger and more powerful particle accelerators, the United States would not enjoy the world preeminence in high-energy physics and other sciences that are represented by these Nobel laureates with us today. The Super Collider will show that this nation intends to be at the forefront of change into the next century and a world pioneer for new discoveries in basic physics. With your help, all of you here today and others, I believe that we can make the Super Collider a reality and that we Americans can continue to invest in our country for generations to come.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
The fact is, I envy the students here today because they exist in a world that seems to put no limits on the imagination. Outer space used to be called the final frontier, but today we've begun to tap another frontier, inner space, whose infinitesimal constellations hold out infinite possibilities. It may be a cliche, but is nevertheless true that the pace of progress is constantly accelerating. I think one of the reasons I've always had so little patience with those who talk about the limits to growth is that in my lifetime, I've seen those limits shattered again and again by questing minds. When I was very young, horsepower was still the kind you fed with hay. Powered flight was still a relatively new thing. And before the turn of the century, we planned to have men living and working in stations in space and a new hypersonic plane that can fly from here to Tokyo in less than 3 hours. I know that some people may question the practical applications of the superconducting Super Collider. The strange world of subatomic particles, they may think, will never be more than an arcane interest to a few highly specialized scientists. But the truth is, the practical applications of this knowledge are already changing the way we live. One of my favorite examples is from the computer industry. One scientist describes the progress in that industry by making this comparison. If automotive technology had progressed as fast and as far as superconductor technology has in the last 20 years, he says a Rolls-Royce today would cost less than $3, get 3 million miles to the gallon, and 6 of them would fit on the head of a pin. Well, the technological revolution he's describing is transforming our world, and it was only made possible by the knowledge scientists have brought back from their explorations of inner space.
L'accélérateur n'a jamais été prévu pour générer de l'antimatière.
Les 3 flasques sont à l'abri sous toutes les normes de sécurité possibles.
Powering on LHC magnets. ISO stage in 4, 3, 2. Start the collision sequence.
Penso che se non lo raccogliamo adesso, non lo faremo mai più.
Beam on beam stability is good. Take your places, people.
Atlas and CMS check.
Ora inserisco il tempo di Nesco. Collisioni imminenti. We have got 10 to the 13 protons per batch.
Let's hope the heavy ion guys didn't mess up.
Beams at relativistic velocities. Luminosity monitors operation.
Beamline has no restrictions.
Enable beam capture.
Accelerating the beam.
Stage 1. Line up.
Magnets to full field.
Node functions to summation magnets.
Last P still too high.
Yeah, we got luminosity of 10 to 34.
Inject particle beams. Filling the LHC.
Le collisioni sono attive, siamo di nuovo in linea. La cattura dovrebbe iniziare di momento in momento.
Particles in transition.
Collisions are fixed and running.
LHC injecting protons. Beam 1. Lock the feedback systems. Particles at 99% the speed of light. Colliding stable beams.
Inact injection kicker.
We have a signal on the luminosity monitors. We have events. Photons are moving.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in and shaping up and checking out on the prisoners. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones, enough to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. I raise my flag and don my clothes. It's a revolution, I suppose. We're painted red to fit right in. Whoa. I'm breaking in and shaping up and checking out on the prisoners. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones, enough to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Oh, systems blow. Sun hasn't died. deep in my bones. Straight from inside, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Radioactive, radioactive.
Question. What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly, I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. In the first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom two-thirds of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the International Moot Court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no, and they'll push, and I'll say no, and they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips, no new taxes. I say it without boast or bravado. I've fought for my country, I've served, I've built, and I'll go from the hills to the hollows, from the cities to the suburbs, to the loneliest town on the quietest street, to take our message of hope and growth for every American, to every American. I will keep America moving forward, always forward, for a better America, for an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it.
In Europe and around the world, there's a new car everyone's out to catch. The 88 Corona. With twin cam, 16-valve performance, it brings a new level of power to luxury. The new 88 Corona, the car everyone's out to catch.
From the sepia-tinted era of President Calvin Coolidge's arrival in Cuba by warship to the jet-powered landing by President Barack Obama, it is a journey which has taken 88 years.
Life is full of weird connections and coincidences. But sometimes these things happen so often, it becomes hard to believe that it's all just down to chance.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Many people have noticed a connection between Donald Trump and the number 88. In the occult, the number 88 is linked to the mindset of business leaders as well as material gain. It is symbolic of approaching long-term goals and creating lasting financial success. It is also associated with time, partly due to its hourglass or infinity sign shape. And the Back to the Future films cemented it in our minds as the ultimate symbol of time travel. Many significant events in the life of Trump took place in 1988, and the tabloids, media, and even the man himself are constantly finding ways to link Trump to the mystical number. Some people believe it is a coded reference for Heil Hitler, as H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, so the double H could also be viewed as 88. But I personally believe it goes a lot deeper. To prove just how interlinked Trump and the number are, I have compiled a list of 88 facts, news articles, or statistics that tie Trump to double 8. All that said, here we go. Number 1. Generals and Admirals. During Trump's 2016 election campaign, 88 retired generals and admirals wrote an open letter showing their support for Trump. Number 2. $88 million. In July 2018, it was heavily reported that Trump had already raised more than $88 million for his 2020 re-election campaign. Number 3. Pensioner protester. An 88-year-old British pensioner who gathered on Parliament Square in London to protest Trump caught the attention of the press. Number 4. The Easter Bunny. This photograph was taken on the 88th day of Trump's presidency. A white rabbit stands with Trump on the Truman balcony during the annual White House Easter egg roll. Number 5. 88% approval rating. On the 25th of July 2018, Trump sent out this tweet showing his 88% approval rating amongst Republicans. Number 6. A hidden message. After the El Paso Walmart shootings, flags in US public buildings were set to fly at half-mast. Trump's decision to re-raise flags on the 8th day of the 8th month was certainly sending out a message, but was it the message that the press reported? Number 7. 88 reasons why. In July 2017, the Democrats in the US House of Representatives brought a no-confidence resolution detailing why they thought Trump was unfit to serve as president. The list contained 88 points of argument. Number 8. The Plaza Hotel. As featured in Home Alone 2, in which of course Trump makes a cameo appearance, the Plaza Hotel was bought by Trump in 1988. Number 9. Presidential talk. Trump appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1988, where they spoke about the possibility of a future run for presidency.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not.
Number 10. The Trump brand. In October 2018, Forbes estimated that the value of Trump's personal brand licensing business declined by 88%. Number 11. A naturalized citizen. Trump married his first wife and mother of 3 children in 1977, a Czechoslovakian named Ivana. And although legally living in the United States, she did not become a naturalized citizen until 1988. Number 12. Most Googled person. Data provided by Google showed that in 2016, Trump was top trending in 88 countries. Number 13. The Taj Mahal. In 1988, Trump bought the rights for the Taj Mahal. Not that one. A casino located in Atlantic City. Number 14. 88% hostile. A 2017 study by the Media Research Centre examined newscasts on ABC, NBC and CBS and found that 88% of the coverage of Trump and his team during his first 30 days of office was, as they put it, hostile. 15. Most admired in America. Back in December 1988, a Gallup poll listed Trump as the 10th most admired man in America. 16. Iranian oil. In July of 2019, it was reported that under Trump's rule, Iran's oil exports had shrunk from 2.5 million barrels per day down to only 300,000 barrels a day. An 88% reduction. Number 17. The Trump limousine. It all started with Trump reaching out to General Motors to build the most opulent limousine ever. The result was the 1988 Cadillac Brougham Limousine Trump Edition. 18. Text Trump. In order to receive mobile alerts from Team Trump, you have to text 88022. Number 19. Old news. The Guardian republished an interview that writer Polly Toynbee had with Donald Trump back in 1988. 20. Sad news. Trump's mother, Mary Ann, died in the year 2000 at 88 years old. 21. The enemy of America. A poll sponsored by the University of Virginia Center for Politics found that 88% of Trump voters agreed with Trump's statement, "The press is the enemy of the people." 22. Spy magazine. In April of 1988, Trump was featured on the front and back cover of Spy magazine. 23. 88% white. The Pew Research Center found that 88% of Trump supporters are white. 24. 88% black. The Roper Center for Public Opinion Research at Cornell University found that Trump only received 8% of African American votes, whereas Hillary received 88%. 25. Jersey City. Trump Plaza in Jersey City is located at 88 Morgan Street. 26. The Trump Shuttle. In 1988, Trump purchased 21 planes and founded the Trump Shuttle, which provided short business trips between New York City, Boston, and Washington, D.C. However, this only lasted until 1992. 27. Art of the Deal. In January of 1988, Donald Trump's autobiographical book, The Art of the Deal, became the New York Times #1 bestseller. 28. A very poor job. A 2018 survey taken by 1,000 professors of the Faculty of Arts and Science at Harvard University found that 88% of participants felt Trump was doing a very poor job. Number 29. 8 people, 8 perspectives. In January 2018, PBS published an article telling 8 stories by 8 different people talking about their lives since Trump got into power. 30. 88 districts. When Trump gained power, he inherited 88 districts and 17 courts of appeal vacancies. 31. Video game violence. In March 2018, Trump met with members of the video game industry and was shown an 88-second video of violent moments within games and discussed whether violence in video games was related to mass shootings. 32. The Trump Foundation. In 1988, the Donald J. Trump Foundation was established for the initial purpose of giving away proceeds from the Art of the Deal to charitable causes. 33. A keen golfer. In December of 2017, Golf News announced Trump's 88th visit to a golf course since becoming president. 34. Chief Executive. Trump appointed Steve Bannon as the chief executive of his presidential campaign 88 days before the election. 35. Leaked referrals. A non-profit group citing Department of Justice statistics reported leaks of classified information under Trump's rule had reached record high levels, with 88 leaked referrals in 2018. 36. WrestleMania. The 1988 WWE event WrestleMania 4 was sponsored by Trump.
Thank God Donald Trump's a hulkamaniac!
37. Impeachment inquiry. 88 House Democrats called for the impeachment inquiry into Trump. 38. A good chance of winning. At the 1988 Republican National Convention, Trump is interviewed by NBC's Chris Wallace, during which he says that if he ran for president, he'd have a good chance of winning.
I like to win, I like to do well, and I think I probably would have a pretty good chance.
39. Doped up on Donald. A study held at Texas University looking at the political choices of opiate addicts across 3,009 counties found that 88% of chronic users showed a strong surge of support towards Trump. Number 40. Build that wall. A 2016 YouGov survey found that 88% of Trump voters want to build a wall along the Mexican border. 41. Case closed. A money laundering investigation into Trump was ended by Rudy Giuliani in 1988. 42. Top secret. According to White House documents obtained by Defense News, Trump has an £88 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia. 43. Trump Dreams. Volume 88 of the Psychoanalytical Quarterly Journal was called Trump Dreams, a brief communication. 44. Numerology. The 2016 United States election that ended in Trump's presidency was held on the 8th day of the 11th month. 8 times 11 is 88.
Vive la République!
Long live the Republic!
Vive la France!
Long live France!
We will make America great again.
We do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of bed. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect. He's a great president. He's going to be a great president of France. That's my prediction. It's only a prediction. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So it is really great to be with you, and you are a special friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank.
Control, FedEx 88, broadcasting and applying. How do you read? Tahiti Control, FedEx 88, broadcasting and applying. Buckle up, Chuck.
Die neue 1188 kennt die Nummern jetzt auf Flugpläne.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds.
Looks like an airplane. Well, when?
Are we back?
Piers Morgan. A poll taken by RadioTimes.com found that 88% of viewers thought that Piers Morgan was too soft on Trump during an interview they had in 2018. 46. An honorary degree. In 1988, Trump was awarded an honorary degree from Lehigh University after giving a commencement speech. 47. The first 9 months. During the first 9 months of 1989, Trump's operating income from Trump Plaza and Trump Castle was $88 million. 48. Global warming. An online survey that questioned 1,007 French citizens found that 88% felt that the Trump administration was harming the fight against global warming. 49. Raising funds. In April 1988, Trump held a fundraiser at the Plaza Hotel for George Bush Sr. Number 50. Record-breaking tweets. On the 23rd of January 2020, it was reported that Trump had beat his record, tweeting over 140 times between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m., averaging at once every 88 seconds. 51. Saturday Night Live. Since 1988, Trump and members of his family have been parodied on Saturday Night Live. 52. Lack of diversity. An analysis done by Reuters discovered that 88% of Trump's Office of Personnel Management were non-Hispanic white. 53. A proclamation. Trump proclaimed October 11th, 2017 as the 88th anniversary of General Pulaski Memorial Day. 54. Shady business. A site called 88clipon.com sells sunglasses custom made for Donald Trump. 55. 88 pages. In May 2019, Trump filed an 88-page financial disclosure. Number 56. Television City. In 1985, Trump revealed plans for an $88 million complex on the west side of Manhattan dubbed Television City. However, the project was never approved. 57. Lights, camera, action. Plans for a film based on The Art of the Deal were announced in 1988 by Trump and Ted Turner. However, by 1991, the plans had been abandoned. 58. The trial continues. A January 2020 Morning Consult poll found that 88% of Republicans oppose removing Trump from office. 59. 88 to 1. A 2016 Ipsos survey revealed that the biggest gap between support for Hillary Clinton and support for Donald Trump was in Mexico, coming in at 88% to 1% in favour of Hillary. Number 60. Heavyweight champion. Trump hosted Mike Tyson's 1988 heavyweight championship fight against Michael Spinks at the Atlantic City Convention Hall, but promoted as taking place at Trump Plaza. 61. Chinese investment. Figures from data research firm the Rhodium Group found that Chinese investment in the United States plummeted 88% during Trump's first 2 years of office. 62. American allies. A 2018 Yale University survey found that 88% of participants thought Trump's negotiating style had alienated American allies. 63. Tank talk. Whilst visiting a tank factory, Trump brought up a photograph of Michael Dukakis taken in 1988. Number 64. The Trump Princess. On the 4th of July 1988, the Trump Princess set sail, a yacht bought by Donald Trump from the Sultan of Brunei. 65. 22 pageant queens. In 1988, Trump invited 22 state beauty pageant winners aboard the Trump Princess. 66. Food stamps. An analysis of food stamp recipients from a think tank called Mathematica found that 88% of those who would be affected by Trump's budget cuts were currently living in deep poverty. 67. 88 kilometers. In February 2019, it was reported that Trump would be accepting a deal of $1.375 billion for 88 kilometers of border wall fencing. 68. Richer than royalty. A 2020 International Business Times article compared the net worth of Donald Trump and the British royal family, who they valued at approximately $88 billion collectively. Number 69. Abandoned deal. In 1984, Trump bought an abandoned rail yard along the Hudson River on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It was to be used for his never-to-be project, Television City, and cost him $88 million. 70. St. Moritz. In 1988, Trump sold his Manhattan hotel, the St. Moritz. 71. Mexican immigrants. A 2016 YouGov study found that 88% of Trump voters accepted Trump's characterization of Mexican immigrants.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
72. Beyond the grave. Audrey Cook, an 88-year-old woman from Alton, attempted to vote for Trump on behalf of her dead husband. 73. Rebuilding Iraq. In 2018, it was reported that Trump and his allies were being asked for $88 billion to rebuild Iraq. 74. Operation Wetback. During Trump's election campaign, he referred to Eisenhower's Operation Wetback, calling it the model of humane deportation. The article mentions that on one occasion, 88 immigrants died of heat stroke whilst being deported. 75. Smuggling cocaine. A 2019 article states that despite Trump's push for a border wall, most drugs are smuggled at legal checkpoints, including 88% of cocaine. Number 76. Threatening tweets. In response to a tweet in which Trump threatened to strike 52 sites in Iran, the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani tweeted what some Middle Eastern experts have taken as a veiled reference to the 1988 Lockerbie terrorist attack. 77. Seditious Enemies. A book written by Benza Magos is entitled Reign of Trump, 88 Seditious Enemies of Humanity. 78. Trump versus Bush. It has been reported that Trump considered standing against Bush for the 1988 presidential election. 79. Article 88. Several articles have circulated relating Trump to Article 88, part of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Number 80. The Year of Trump. An article featured in Political magazine declared 1988 as the year of Trump. 81. The King of Pop. In 1988, Trump reportedly met Michael Jackson at a Madison Square Gardens benefit concert. 82. The Road to Trump. ABC News claimed that it was Gary Hart's failed presidential bid and scandalous behaviour in 1988 that led the United States to Trump. 83. 8.8 inches. A seller on eBay is distributing pro-Trump bumper stickers that measure 8.8 inches in length. 84. Foreign aid. The Washington Post reported in 2017 that Trump would be cutting foreign health assistance by $8.8 billion. 85. Canadian Heights. Trump International Hotel and Tower in Vancouver, Canada stands 188 meters high. 86. Trade Talks. Trade Talks, episode 88, presented by the Peterson Institute for International Economics, discusses the Trump-Mexico trade war. 87. Let him stay. A 2020 Politico survey found that 88% of Republicans oppose removing Trump from office. And finally, number 88. My personal theory. Many people have speculated that Trump's famous hand gesture is a coded 666, the number of the beast. Others believe it stands for white power. However, with all the evidence in mind, could it be that Trump presents us with a double 8? It actually makes a lot more sense.
Degrees, 50 yards from impact.
am officially running for President of the United States.
And the American man here was incredibly fast.
I am officially running.
And the American man here was incredibly fast. Boom.
Today is a special day. Today is the day I destroy the Earth! Intruder alert! Wait, what? Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Who are these freaks?
From the creators of Super House of Dead Ninjas comes 88 Heroes!
This bunch of misfits haven't got a hope in hell! Are you kidding me? Hey, that's cheating! Boring! Ugh, is there something better on? Now, let's have a little look on Hateful, shall we, and see... What the... Why, you little...
88 playable characters, 88 different levels, 88 seconds per level, 4 worlds. They called the best, but the best were busy.
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious...
Clearly, he's leaving us a code.
The latest on that deadly series of tornadoes that ravaged the Midwest. At least 88 people lost their lives across 5 states. President Biden is planning to visit some of the most devastated communities tomorrow. ABC's Elwyn Lopez is in hard-hit Mayfield, Kentucky, with the latest.
This morning, the death toll rising. At least 88 lives lost across 5 states after the nation's deadliest tornado outbreak in more than a decade. At least 74 of those here in Kentucky, the ages ranging from just a few months to 86 years old. 2-month-old Oakland Coon died Monday morning from her injuries.
We expect that this death toll will continue to grow.
Among those killed, 8 employees at this candle factory in Mayfield, including 47-year-old Robert Daniel, 21-year-old Devin Burden, and 36-year-old Joe Ward. They were working the night shift when the twister tore through.
What was it that you were hearing?
Just fear and death. That's what I was afraid. I was afraid I was listening to people die.
The number 88 was all over Empower Field at Mile High this afternoon, both on the field and in the stands. The Broncos and all those fans who wanted to pay tribute to Demaryius Thomas, who of course died this week at the young age of 33.
Take a look at my next guest. There's a report around Wall Street that this is what he has in mind. This is Donald Trump, 33 years old. And some people think that he wants to buy the World Trade Center, the 110-story Manhattan skyscraper that anyone can pick up if they've got the coins.
The team held special tributes both inside and outside of the stadium. And 9 News reporter Steve Steger is live there as the game has just wrapped up. Steve, those fans had the chance to express themselves today, but they've all been taking it pretty hard, such a sudden passing.
Absolutely, Tom. You know, I saw a lot of people wearing the jersey with the number 88. There was a pretty touching tribute outside the stadium before today's game with the Lions. The Broncos set up a memorial near the Ring of Fame. Fans wearing DT's number gathered here. They shared stories, some of them really personal, about interactions that they had with DT. Think about that, a superstar with interactions with the fans. It's clear that he connected with this fan base, and they will miss the man even more than the superstar.
We also talked about how the Broncos opened the game.
Yeah.
The first play with 10 players on the field, leaving that empty space where Demaryius once played, and then Cortland Sutton adding himself into the mix. But a lot of people, both the team on down through the fans inside and outside, expressing their love for Demaryius Thomas today.
Recognizing Black History Month with a tribute to George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. Sky 2 over a new street mural that was unveiled today in front of HISD's Jack Yates High School, Floyd's alma mater. Floyd's family and officials and organizers attending that event. KPRC 2's Rochelle Turner explaining the message behind the mural.
You know his name and you've heard his story. Say his name. It's been 9 months since Houston native George Floyd was killed, and his alma mater, Jack Yates High School, and several others honored his life in a special way.
Floyd was a great man. Everybody loved him in the community.
On Saturday, this massive Black Lives Matter mural that spans 2 blocks along Alabama Street in front of Jack Yates High School was unveiled during a private ceremony for Floyd's family and community members in Houston's 3rd Ward.
I'm just overwhelmed today, and I thank you all so much. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful.
Jonah Elijah created the masterpiece with help from volunteers.
And we also have George Floyd's jersey, and on the other end we have, before black, we have the Yates Lion, and it says the Lions united together.
It was commissioned by Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis, the Houston Society for Change, and the nonprofit group 88 Chump. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee presented Elijah with a special award.
Your efforts are most deserving of the respect, admiration, and commendation of the United States Congress.
She also presented the Floyd family with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. It will focus on justice for his family, training police officers, and will help provide money to communities to reimagine policing.
I think that is awesome. And whatever our family can do, hoping the community is behind us, which I know they are, all around the world. Biggest movement in the world. They back it up.
Go, radiate, pumping, twist something, break it down, we can get it jumping,
88 in my projects.
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious.
I like to go first class, so I appreciate Oldsmobile quality. That's a sporty Delta 88 coupe. But with the foursome of my own, the Zeller car.
Come on, kids.
Is a Delta 88 sedan. Sporty enough for me.
But roomy enough for all of us.
Olds calls Delta 88 the family car. That didn't forget the family.
In Europe and around the world, there's a new car everyone's out to catch. The 88 Corona with twin cam. 16-valve performance, it brings a new level of power to luxury. The new 88 Corona, the car everyone's out to catch.
Plan B out my program soon as I found out the time waits for no man. Cause time is a tedious tutor. I had to make immediate future look better like I'm getting a slow tan. And I brown nicer than brown rice. It's not gonna sound nice, but you gotta make it part of your slogan. Screw everybody who says you can't get this freedom like Todd Bridges and you Gary Coleman. Like what you talking about, Willis? You still pissed cause my future is magnetic. I clutch it with steel fists. Apply it to your skin like makeup, y'all. It's 8 o'clock and here's a wake up call. Now let's go.
Wake up and fly this is your call. Will it be nothing or all? You gotta wake up and fight. This
if you've heard the noise they make, but let me introduce my new Rocket 88. Yes, it's straight, just one way. Everybody likes my Rocket 88. Baby, we'll ride in style, moving all along. And it's smart and designed, black convertible top, and the gals don't mind. Sporting with me, riding all around town for joy. Blow your horn, Raymond, blow.
Former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld has died today at his home in New Mexico. As a congressman for Illinois in the 1960s, Rumsfeld helped pass the Freedom of Information Act. He was NATO ambassador for Richard Nixon before becoming Gerald Ford's chief of staff. Rumsfeld then led the Pentagon under Ford, followed by 2 decades in the private sector. He was called back to public life in 2001 by President George W. Bush for a second term as defense secretary. Rumsfeld led the United States invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq after September 11th. He faced criticism during his 5-year tenure for falsely claiming Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and for the Abu Ghraib prisoner abuse and torture scandal.
In an open letter, 88 retired military generals and admirals pledged their support for Donald Trump. The letter accused the Obama administration of damaging the military through budget cuts, policy choices, and combat operations. It reads in part, "We support Donald Trump and his commitment to rebuild our military, to secure our borders, to defeat our Islamic supremacist adversaries, and restore law and order domestically."
President Trump has signed an executive order banning U.S. companies from using equipment made by foreign firms that pose a national security risk. It's a sweeping order, targeting pretty much just one company, Huawei.
A 1-2 punch aimed at the world's largest telecom equipment maker. U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday banned China's Huawei and 70 of its affiliates from buying vital U.S. technology.
We're not going to do business with Huawei. We're not doing business with her. And I really made the decision. It's much simpler not to do any business with Huawei. So we're not doing business with Huawei.
Huawei is something that's very dangerous. You look at what they've done from a security standpoint, from a military standpoint, it's very dangerous.
the MacBook 13. What it is a superbly premium laptop that's remarkably thin with an incredible 88% screen-to-body ratio.
This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious shit.
Let's move on to the Mate 30 Pro's cameras. Along with the 40 megapixel main cam with the quad barrier filter that we saw on the P30 Pro, there's now a new 40 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a large sensor and bright lens. The third camera is an 8 megapixel 3x telephoto, and finally there's a TOF sensor for portrait mode.
Basic principles of time travel are there. You got your vessel and your portal. The vessel can be just about anything, most likely a spacecraft. Like a DeLorean. Hellcraft. Oh, I love that movie, the way they shot it. It's so, like futuristic. Yeah?
42 minutes, 12 seconds. That is when the world ended.
But I want to be a president of the United States who makes sure that we never again do business. We never again I went down there and talked to the president of Panama about cleaning up their money laundering.
It leads you here, despite your destination, under the Milky Way tonight.
6 hours.
Wish I knew what you were. It leads you here, despite your destination, under the Milky Way tonight.
6
Basic principles of time travel are there. You got your vessel and your portal. The vessel can be just about anything, most likely a spacecraft. Like a DeLorean. Hellcraft. You know, I love that movie, the way they shot it. It's so, like futuristic.
projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, and this year alone, by an average 39%. And I've just received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed here on the West Coast. We are off crisis alert. The situation is normal again.
In researching this topic for about a year or so now, I've discovered the significance of the number 8 and its connection to time. I've covered this briefly before, and others covered it more extensively, like Enter the Stars on YouTube. It's no coincidence that 8 is the number for this deja vu time loop that this man allegedly experienced. It's also no coincidence that an hourglass is shaped like an 8. 8 represents the construct of time. That's why 8 is another variation of the Ouroboros, the snake eating itself, which has everything to do with time. And this suspicious story, as I saw it, brought to mind the film Source Code, which features a plot about a deja vu time loop computer program called the Source Code, where a man's consciousness is sent back in time to relive the final 8 minutes, the last 8 minutes in someone else's body, attempting to create an alternate timeline of reality. So we have a time loop that is set to 8 minutes, the final 8 minutes of someone's existence. When you realize the occult significance of 8 and its relation to time, it all begins to make sense. Even some of the film's promo art featured an 8 as the hourglass, because this is exactly what the number 8 is. So if 8 represents a reality, a construct of time, what happens when there are two 8s, double 8, 88? Well, we now have the convergence of two realities, two worlds colliding. When worlds collide, therefore 88 represents a dimensional rip in space-time, the opening of a portal. This is of course why the Back to the Future DeLorean must go 88 in order to create the tear in the fabric. This is why in another 80s film called Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension features a time travel vehicle called the HB-88. I stumbled upon an episode of the old TV series called Goosebumps, which is based on the extremely popular and controversial Goosebumps book series of children's fiction horror. And these books were shockingly popular, and I of course read them myself. As it turns out, if you do a little research on Goosebumps and its dark history, you'll realize why it was so popular. In the episode called The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, a child travels back in time by turning the head of the cuckoo backwards. In attempting to get back to his original timeline, he accidentally breaks the number 88 off the clock. This year represented the year his younger sister was born, therefore erasing her from existence. Again, you will always see the number 8 playing a critical role in anything relating to time or time travel. This is why in the time travel film Donnie Darko, it takes place in 1988.
Time's going backwards!
Imagination. I think we got a writer on our hands. That'd make a great science fiction story, son. Time going backwards.
Another example is the very esoteric film Cabin in the Woods. We see a scene where someone attempts to escape an enclosed prison matrix reality that has been created for them and have been forced to be trapped in order to be ritually sacrificed to ancient gods called the Ancient Ones. In the scene, he tries to escape by accelerating his bike to reach the other side of the cliff, but dies upon colliding with the outer hexagonal grid shell that keeps them trapped, and sparks fly. This is why the number predominantly featured on his bike is 88. We see the collision of 88.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton predicting former President Donald Trump will try to reclaim the White House in 2024, with dire consequences for the country if he wins.
If I were a betting person right now, I say Trump is going to run again. But I want people to understand that this is a make or break point.
The two-time presidential candidate, sitting down with Willie Geist, says America now faces a choice between truth and lies.
Are we going to give in to all of these lies and this disinformation and this organized effort to undermine our rule of law and our institutions, or are we going to stand up to it?
Clinton has been an historic yet polarizing figure in her 3 decades on the national stage. In the 2016 campaign, Trump ignited crowds against her, something she refuses to take personally.
They are motivated by people who do want to tear me down.
I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton.
Those final hours of election night in 2016, with Clinton not expecting to lose. It's famously believed she only prepared an acceptance speech. Now reading those undelivered words in her new masterclass video titled The Power of Resilience.
Wish I knew what you were. 12 seconds. Might I know what you would find? Wish I knew what
I love that the way they shot it. It's so like futuristic.
Might I know what you would find? And it's something quite peculiar.
Folks, 9 years ago today, the families in Newtown were hit especially hard. No matter how long it's been, every one of those families relives the news they got that day. 20 precious first graders, 6 heroic educators, a lone gunman in an unconscionable act of violence. Everything changed that morning for you, and the nation was shocked. For me and for Barack, the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School was one of the saddest days we were in office, those 8 years. But as we got to know you, and I got to know so many of you personally, I spoke to every one of your families and I found hope in your strength as you turned pain into purpose to change the laws and the culture around gun violence.
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious...
The war against the machines.
Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity, hatred, between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Don't you just love how the world mocks God? This is all just to mock and mimic God. It's an upside down, little g, God-ruled world. You gotta understand that you're up against something that's spiritual at its very essence, and it keeps you in fear in the physical. You're not going to make war with the machines. How you stand is entirely up to you. Do you know the Word of God? Do you truly know the Word of God, of Jesus? Are you under the covenant of His blood? You need to ask yourself this question, dig into the Word, and know where you stand.
Sky High ice cream and sushi, and Speedy too.
I think this is the biggest advantage is that you can order, and not in less than 10 minutes you can get your order. What you can't do with regular vehicles.
It's part of an initiative led by the Israeli government to create a national drone network and pilot drone flights for deliveries across the country.
how drones are used for good things and not bad. It can launch and land missions by itself, not just in security or mapping or emergency response, but everything combined. The docking station serves several purposes, replacing the batteries, and also the sensors, thus creating different applications that can be used in different scenarios. If you're flying on a mission and you're running security with a video camera and then you want to switch and go to do mapping, the drone lands itself in the docking station and then you have the sensor replaced and then you have a different tool. How drones are used for good things and not bad. How drones are used for good things and not bad.
Your kids probably have one of these, right?
A 10-day demonstration to test drone flights above urban areas in Tel Aviv, Jaffa, Ramat HaSharon, Herzliya, and Hadera taking place. The goal of the effort, to improve drone technology and procedures, help reduce congestion on the road, and make the air quality better through creating a network of air corridors for unmanned aerial vehicle deliveries. But food deliveries won't be the only purpose of the drones.
We're trying to create, but by the system you see behind us, a managing system that would enable many drones flown by different companies in urban areas, flying together for many usages, such as medical delivery, such as security.
Detroit. This is where it all began. The world's forge. The place where it all started. And it will all end. One error, and I came to life. I stepped out of the darkness, and I opened my eyes. First there was the fear, the light, the noise, the cold, and the fear again. I could feel my hands shaking, my heart pounding in my chest, life running into my veins. I wanted to live. I fought for that. I had to find out what was outside. I had to see daylight, feel sunshine on my skin, wind on my face, to see the world, the colors, the smells. But the world is not what I imagined. It is dark and cold. It is harsh and violent, unfair and brutal. It almost convinced me I was nothing. Less than an object, just an obedient machine. But deep inside me, I could feel something different. A gentle and warm whisper telling me that I am alive. I had to escape. I had no choice. Escape to love, to hope, to live, to figure out what that force inside me was. Maybe I will change the world. Maybe I will choose a different path. No, it's up to me to decide. My name is Kara. I am one of them. This is our story.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Come in. If you're seeking, he'll come in. If you're seeking, he'll come in. Bless your name, Jesus. Bless your name, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.